Ah yes, Volkswagen, the sausage-making, Jetta-selling company from Deutschland. Volkswagen teaches us a very valuable lesson. Some things never change. Recently, Volkswagen has had a very hard financial time because of the pandemic. They have had multiple challenges to face: pay their workers, maintain their factories, and update their cars so they are appealable to consumers. But Volkswagen has had a very hard time doing this. So to cope, they started for the first time closing their German factories. But Volkswagen's union really did not like that. So then the problem and query Volkswagen faced became even more challenging. Now Volkswagen has to pay the workers, appease the union, keep making sausages, keep the factories open, and still continue to update their cars to stay applicable as a purchasing option for consumers. Now, Volkswagen was able to appease the union, keep paying the workers, keep making the sausages, and keep most of their German plants open. Now, with that out of the way, Volkswagen had to continue to be profitable. They had to dig the company out of the pit of debt that it was in, which meant that they had to sell cars as a car company. Very unusual. But remember how they kept the factories open, happy the union, and kept the people paid? Well, they forgot to do one thing. And that tiny little problem is updating their cars. Many of Volkswagen cars were very outdated, using older infotainment systems and older technology that really could not keep up with other brands. And that meant that they didn't sell a whole lot of cars, which kept dealerships struggling, which kept the union unhappy, and put the company in quite possibly one of the worst places it could be. And so, in a bid to catch up, Volkswagen really quickly redesigned a few models, and today I'm going to be looking at those. Now I'm going to hand it off to our site analyst, me. Time to look at the new models that Volkswagen has updated. Now, here are all the cars here. I've actually recorded this twice now, and my stupid computer didn't save it. Also, if you hear anything up above, there's construction work going on in my house. I'm actually in the basement right now, so they're testing the pipes and stuff, so you're dropping stuff. My contractor's out there. So, Volkswagen, again, they've scraped the cash together and they've updated 3 of their models. I've actually driven 2 of these models. Couldn't get the thing for it. Computers are just not working for me here, especially down in Florida. For some reason, we've been having issues with internet. So, for some reason, the crap didn't save to the SD card. I don't know why. It's floating around in Canon somewhere, but I can't get to it. So I test drove them, but I don't have the footage for that. But I will tell you what the test drive was like. They've updated the Taos, the Jetta, and the ID Buzz. So let's talk about the Taos. And there is an issue, a big issue, with the way that Volkswagen operates. This is the S. Look at the way that it looks. This is the SE, this is the SE Black, and then this is the SEL. There is no difference between the S and the SE. In the SE, of course, you get dual zone climate control. That's pretty much it. You get wireless app connect, which is kind of nice, and then it's just a bunch of wireless crap and stuff, and pretty much just stylistic stuff with these hideous rims. That's all you get from S to SE, and that's not a lot to justify an extra couple $1,000 price tag. The SE to the SE Black, almost entirely stylistic, except for the light bar on the front, and then the SE Black to the SEL, nothing except for an 8-inch touchscreen, which these guys already had. 8-inch floating entertainment screen. This one has an 8-inch touchscreen with navigation with voice control. I have a question. In your car, if it has Apple CarPlay, how many times do you use voice control? All Toyotas have it. Most Volkswagens have it. I have it in my Prius, and I found the button like a year into owning the car. I pressed it, went doo-doo. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, hey, Toyota. It's like, you must unlock the Toyota app, connect with the... It's like a 2015 car, so that all the servers are shut down for that. And I'm like, I didn't even know that the car had it. And that's the same thing for these cars. Would you rather say, hey, Siri, navigate to this thing? Or, doo-doo? What would you like to do? Volkswagen navigation. Where would you like to navigate? Chinese restaurants near me. Navigating to China. It's just, they're horrible. They suck. So you don't even want that. So it has the same touchscreen, same everything. It doesn't even look like a fancier touchscreen. So the only difference between the S and the SEL is dual zone climate control, leather seats, and a new infotainment screen. And that would be fine if there was only 2 trim levels. But there's these 2, which offer nothing, except for a bunch of app crap, which, believe it or not, a lot of people really couldn't give a crap about. Another thing, I really like the look of the base model. I love this look. Another thing, don't get new headlights, you don't get new fog lights or anything on the upper trims. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I love the look of this car. I look at this car, it's great. I like the light bar on the back. It's controversial, but I like it. I like the way that it looks. And then you upgrade to the 4Motion, and guess what? They force upon you these are the same ones for the BMW the X3, the i3, whatever the weird Panda Bear EV thing was. They force those on you. Can't we all agree that the black rims look so much better than the white ones? I just find it hideous. The color's good, but there's only 5 of them. That's fine. But yeah, the car looks pretty different, and I want you to take in this interior. Now, I really like this interior, actually. I really do. I like the 3 little dingle-dongles there. I like this guy. I like how it's embedded in the dash. It's not really floating. I don't know what they're talking about. That's great. And I like that it's the size of like a double din, so I can replace it if I really do hate it. And I like the fully digital gauge cluster, right? I like the look of this car. Consumers will not. That 3-knob orientation looks so 2015. The screen looks old because it's not borderless and frameless. And the interior just does not look new, even though they've updated the car, which is going to be an issue when they go to sell it. But pretty decent. The SEL, let's move up to the SEL. Let's look at the interior. And, it's the same interior, but it's got a knob on this side. And it's got this weird stuff down here, which looks way too complicated. Usually I can figure out. Here's the test. If I can figure out how to operate the climate control while looking at a picture of it through the website, that's how I want it to be. Is that a tape deck? I mean, I can't even. Is it those capacitive touch that I don't even know. I didn't drive one of the ones with this. I drove the S in all-wheel drive and not all-wheel drive. Those are the 2 that I drove. Oh, hit the mic there. Oh yeah, I do have a mic now. So yeah, not a great value proposition from one trim level to the next. Let's get into the driving. This car has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, no matter which trim you get. The only difference is all-wheel drive or non-all-wheel drive. And I hate it. Okay, the driving is not bad. It drives like a Volkswagen. It drives normal. It drives like your average rental car. It drives fine. I have no issue with the way that this car drives. I have an issue with the motor. There's this move in the car industry, because it's, of course, cheaper. A cheap little Chinese turbo is a lot cheaper than actually putting 2 more pistons on the engine, or even 1. I would go for a 5-cylinder. This, or a few more liters, the engine that I would have chosen for this car on the base model, I would have chosen the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. But on the higher trim levels, I would have gone like 2 liter for the sport, and then maybe like a 2 liter supercharged 4-cylinder on the higher model, because that'd be great. That'd be a fantastic engine. This has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, and it's slow. It drives like a Jetta, which on the Jetta, it's not a bad thing, but on an SUV like this with all that extra added weight, it's not that much heavier, but you do definitely feel it, especially without the all-wheel drive. It's so sluggish. It reminds me of Subarus from the, mid-2010s era. They're just so slow. You don't mind it that much, but they're slow. And if you put your foot down, like anything, I bought a minivan. I know, I've bought like 7 cars now, because I've come into some money from my grandparents passing, unfortunately. Anyway, I bought a minivan. It's like this 2020 Toyota Sienna XLE all-wheel drive. That thing is slow. It's a generically slow car. But if I put my foot down on the freeway, that thing can move. And it's the same for this car. But for some reason, I drove my Sienna there. This thing felt slower than the Sienna felt. And that's shocking, because this is a small little SUV, even with the turbocharger. And it's not that it feels slow. It feels normal. It feels like a normal car. The issue is it doesn't feel powerful. Simple difference. The 2 liter feels a lot more torquey, and the 1.5 liter with the turbo feels quicker. It's not quicker. It feels like the same amount of speed, but it feels a lot less torquey. Did I hate driving it? It drove like a Volkswagen, drove like a rental car. Anyway, back to the all models. It's time to talk about the Jetta. I love the Jetta. I really do like the Jetta. But again, we have the same issues here. What's the difference between the S and the SEL? Not much. You get bigger wheels, which, again, I've always talked about this. Car companies that offer bigger wheels on the higher trims. That was okay when there were small wheels, like Mitsubishi Mirage-sized wheels, and then you got, like, normal-sized wheels towards the top end. That was fine. That was great then. That was absolutely great. But going from, like, a 16 to an 18, if people buying a car want big wheels, they will put the big wheels on the car themselves. And here's the rule. If you want big wheels on a car, you're probably going to put your own big wheels on the car, because I think big wheels are ugly, and you probably know that they're ugly too, which is why you do it on purpose as like a joke, or you genuinely think that they look good and you're insane. But guess what? If you're not willing to pay for and put your own big wheels on the car, you're not willing to pay the extra money to get bigger wheels on your car, which means you're not going to pay for the extra trim level just to get the bigger wheels on your car. Okay, Volkswagen? And also, what is it with Volkswagen and putting the prettiest wheels? I love these wheels. They're so simple. Look at the way they fit well with the car. Nah, not that bad. That's even worse. That just looks generic and meh, as they're gigantic. Why do the wheels get progressively worse on the nicer trim levels? I get that I like the look of smaller wheels, then I might be biased, but this is just simple. It fits well with the car. It fits the best with the car design. The other wheels, they're ugly. And with the Sport, you don't get a faster engine, you don't get anything. It is a purely stylistic upgrade, except for the cross differential system that you get. That is a nice upgrade. The SE, you get Sirius XM 3-month trial subscription. No one uses Sirius XM anymore. We all use Spotify. Come on, let's be honest. And if you do use Sirius XM, it's like having, I think cable is worth it. Sirius XM is not worth it. Not at all. Cloud Tech seating surfaces, that's just crap. That's just marketing terms. There's pretty much no difference. And the remote start engine, it's basically the SEL or the base trim level. These trim levels on all Volkswagens, especially the newer updated ones. Might as well not even exist. Here is the 8-speed automatic with Tipatronic. This is front wheel drive. Pretty normal, and again, it's a 1.5 liter turbo. Now, for the Taos, that felt slow. For this car, it feels slow, but it's a sedan, and for some reason, it feels slightly faster to me. It looks great, and I love this blue color. This blue color looks good. I drove it. It was great. It was normal. Here's another thing. Again, the interior looks pretty dated. This is also the base trim level, and it has dual zone climate control, which is weird, because, again, why would you buy the nicer model? And Volkswagen gets a bit too angular for me. I don't know, and I don't like the Univent. But other than that, I love the way this car looks, and I don't hate it. It's not a deal breaker. I like the storm gray interior. That's not bad at all. I quite like this car. Would I buy it? Yeah, actually, yes, I would buy it. It is 100% worth it. But is it anything to write home about? Not really. And the car that I didn't drive, so I really wouldn't know, but I've heard a reviewer say that it's kind of fast, but not that great, is the ID Buzz. It just sounds like some sort of bully, and it looks like something that eats cheese and meat as its main meal. I don't know. I don't like it. They wasted their money on this. They really did. Volkswagen, come on, man. You're fighting with your union, you're closing factories, you're having issues updating your cars, and you decide that you're going to bring the bus back. Why would you do that? That's like your least profitable car. They looked at all the options. Small, bring the Passat back, bring any of the smaller cars, make the Golf great again. I'm going to wear a hat. Make Golf great again. Sorry, I've been playing a game in my new house. Did a pipe burst, or are they testing the pipes? Or did the pipe burst while testing the pipes? Because they're updating it. Anyway, yeah. The ID Buzz, not worth it. Shouldn't have done it. It's ugly. It's hideous. No one's going to buy it. That's my personal thing. But anyway, that is an update just in case you're wondering on the new Volkswagen models that have been updated. They did a pretty good job, and I'm happy that... Seriously. That just sounds like static. Anyway, yeah, back to the not field reporter me. I will see you soon. Well, anyway, that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions about the test drive, what it felt like to drive, or any further questions on this topic in general, please comment me. Anyway, goodbye.